Hey everyone, it is Shannon and welcome to my first reading vlog for September. I'm planning on doing these weekly-ish. We'll see if I have enough steam to get through the whole month. I do have a pretty specific and intense TBR that I want to follow this month, so it felt like a good month to try and vlog because I want to get through a lot of my stacking the series titles this month. I want to do a month of catching up on that and focusing on that. But today is actually day 0. It is August 31st, so we're not yet in September. But today I do plan on going to the library to pick up some of my books. So I thought it would be a good day to start vlogging. And I may also set up my reading tracking, or at least start to, pencil it out or think it out, because I'm doing things a bit differently this month, I might set up my tracking a little bit differently. I would go through, do I separate out, the books that are on my TBR versus not on my TBR, and I also have some non-stacking series books on my TBR. Where to put those? Do I write them all in? Do I not write them all in? Yes, I know, there's so many options. And I haven't done a video on it yet. I do plan on doing that for the future, because it is something I share the results of on Instagram. If I'm doing it for the month, I do share it. So yeah, so I do plan to do that at some point, but maybe here I can share a little bit of just sort of like how the process, and we'll see how that goes. So anyway, I am going to get a coffee and have some breakfast, and I have one hold that has yet to come in for the library, so I'm going to wait a little bit. They usually have a delivery midday, so I'm going to give them a little bit of time, but I do want to get there and get back because I want to get to finishing my August books. Let's not even go there. We're in the future when we're watching this, so hopefully I finished my August books. Probably didn't, but anyway. But yeah, this is going to focus on September, working through my stacking the series books and seeing how I do. So this is just a little intro, get things started, and because we're going to the library today, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I just checked the library website, and as it turns out, all of my holds are in, so I actually don't even have to wait. I made a coffee, so I'm going to have my coffee and update my reading from yesterday, but then I can head out and pick up my books at the library. So today can start today, or now. So here is my stack of returns. I actually just finished The Strange Library last night, and so these are all going back. These two are actually for my sister. She went with me to the library, so I'm returning the books that she got out. And then I renewed these two mangas. I didn't get to them, and I feel like it's unlikely I will get to them in September, but it might be nice to have something different in the mix with all of the other books that I have decided. And I really want to try out Vagabond. I think it might be a little too similar to a couple of the other titles that I'm reading, but I didn't give it a fair enough chance. And then Parasyte is just so freaky. Like, it looks creepy and stuff. So yeah, that could be good for fall. So those stay with, and that is the stack o' returns. It actually ended up being a really nice day, which is great for a library trip. So many birds out right now. Hop, hop, hop. Oh, there they go. Look at them all. There's a little party going on of birds. Let's see how close we can get before they scatter. And there they go. You never know what you're going to see on a walk outside. So I picked up my library holds, and I decided to not get any additional books because my holds were already 10 bucks. They did have a Wardstone Chronicles book on the sale cart, which I feel like I should have gotten. It's the next one in the series, but I'm reading them via Scribe, so I don't need to own it, but they have such great art, I kind of wanted it. I do actually have the 13th one. I found that on the cart some other time, so maybe that'll be a good way to finish off the series. So yeah, I don't know if I got any footage of the library inside because they do have policies on that you can't film people in the library, so it's a little tricky to be able to vlog in there, and I respect that, you know, other people's privacy in public, and although I'm on the street now, but that's a bit different. Anyway, so I got my books. A couple of the How to Train Your Dragon books were hardcover, so those were heavy. Another reason not to pick up one more book from the sale cart, because that's a lot of books. So anyway, I am going to pick up some groceries and then head home and start planning the month. Alright, I think I'm set for a while. Okay, so I am back from the library and I picked up my 10 holds. I'm so glad that they all came in, returned my books, found some cool stuff. One, they had free stickers, so that's awesome. I should have gotten one more, and then I could have used the stickers for like all of the books. Once I read them, I could like put it in my journal or something like that. So, but anyway, they're fun stickers. I like the cat one a lot, and the big happy face, and the, oh my god, the punk fish. They're just so cool. So I got that, and I also found they have a reading challenge, and it's a Toronto one, obviously, Toronto Public Library, and it has the CN Tower. So there are some of the challenges, and I think it's really cool. And then they also have an advanced, if you want to go even further, on the back. So there is a URL for it, which is right there. And yeah, and I'll leave it in the, hopefully I'll remember to leave it in the description box below. I don't know if there's a time frame for this. I know sometimes reading challenges are over the summer, but this is the first time I saw it. And I also picked up What's On, which is a guide to events at the library. This is September through December. I can't get out to the library in the winter, but I always like to check out, you know, stuff anyway, so I will see if there are any events or things to that are things that I can do or would like to participate in. So there you go. And yeah, so I am going to relax a little bit, have some lunch, catalog my books in my spreadsheet, which I always do after I get back from the library. And then yeah, I'm gonna rest for a bit, and then I will get to planning a little bit maybe in my journal, my bullet journal, or my tracker, and I gotta get to finishing my August reads so I can start well tomorrow. So we shall see how things go. Thanks for coming to the library with me. That was a lot of fun. All right, lunchtime. Got my sandwich and some salad and some peas and some grapes and some coffee. Very, very happy. Looking forward to relaxing a little bit and resting a bit and enjoying some food, and then I will do some planning or some reading. Maybe some reading would be good. Finish those books I need to finish before tomorrow. Alright, and here are my library books. This one's repaired, so you can't see the title from the side, but it's Piano Lessons Can Be Murder. And I got my How to Train My Dragon books, 10, 11, 12, 5 Blade of the Immortals, and Aquicorn Cove. Cataloged, shelved, ready to go. So now that my books are all cataloged, I should probably be reading, but I'm not really feeling like it. So I'm gonna, you know, relax for a bit. I pulled out my knitting. I'm working on a sweater, and I think I'm just gonna watch a movie or something and then get to reading hopefully later. I also really want to watch all the TBRs because it is just before September and everyone has their TBR up. Sarah has her TBR up, Anita has her TBR up, Amy has her TBR up, and I want to watch all the videos. So I might end up doing that. I'll probably end up doing both the watching a movie and watching everyone's TBR, so hopefully I will get some reading done today. I have to finish Grimalkin. I have to. That's the one I have to do. The rest I know I'm not going to make it, so I might finish. There's a Goosebumps book that would be good to finish, but it's not super, like, I have the next one from the library, so it'd be good to finish it, but, you know, it doesn't take a lot of effort. Anyway, but Grimalkin. Need to do that, but right now I'm probably just gonna watch a movie and knit and then watch YouTube. And done. Woohoo! Okay, so it is day one of September, day one of this vlog, even though it's probably not minute one of this vlog because I filmed a lot yesterday. Anyway, I need to film my TBR, so that is what I am going to get to right now, and film a couple other videos. The internet's been a bit tricky today, so I want to film it and then I will get back to doing clips because I can compile and upload them later, but I need to get my TBR up because I don't usually leave it to the first, but I had to get my library books. So this is a little behind the scenes of all of my stuff ready for my vlogs, some notes, my tablet, books, of course, and then my handy dandy film stand, which is a small pillow, a book, and a big pillow to lean my phone against. And my phone's in a case that's a little rubbery, so it sticks to the book. Usually I use a notebook, but I don't know where it is, so hopefully this will work. But yeah, so this is a little behind the scenes for you. So I'm going to get to filming, and then I will get a little bit more to planning the day, and we shall see how things go. Wow, so doing videos today took way longer than expected and I didn't even get them all done, but I have just scheduled my TBR to go up. I've actually scheduled it for like 8 minutes from now just so that it goes like on the half hour. Anyway, I usually do my TBRs days in advance, but that didn't happen this month. Wow, this look at my nose gets all the light there. That's much better. Let's go with that. So yeah, so TBR is scheduled. I am toast though. I am toast. That took all of my energy, so I'm gonna have some lunch and then hopefully do some reading, but I think I was gonna do planning and scheduling and work in my planner. None of that's gonna happen. Doing the videos took all of the energy, so yeah. So I might see you tomorrow. Where, oh, where to begin? It is now September 2nd, which is Labor Day here, and so happy Labor Day to everyone who celebrates. And so it's a holiday, so it feels very much like a holiday. Yesterday kind of did too. I totally ran out of steam, wasn't able to vlog anymore, but I did get some reading done, and I did start one of my TBR books, so I read 138 pages of How to Seize a Dragon's Jewel, which is the 10th book in the How to Train Your Dragon series, so I'm feeling very good about that. I figure if I do a third of the book every day, that's probably a good pace, and then I might take a day break and then read The Giver, or I might not take a day break and read The Giver. I can't decide how scheduley I want to be. I think I'm going to alternate The Giver books, and I didn't do the breakdown on my TBR, did I? Okay, so goal for this month is to read 3 How to Train Your Dragon books and finish that series, read the 4 books in the Giver Quartet and start and finish that series, and then I have 2 other books for stacking the series that I want to read, the Shakespeare very short introduction, this one, and a book on Mabon. So I'm not sure how scheduley I want to get to stuff like that, or if I want to just start everything or see where things go. I don't know. But the How to Train Your Dragon books I have from the library, so I have them for about 3 weeks, so I definitely need to finish them within that time. And my idea was to alternate the Dragon books and the Giver books because they're both younger titles. This one's a kid's series and Giver is more of a YA series. So that was my idea. And then maybe just read the nonfiction books throughout the month. So yeah, so that is that I couldn't completely not plan, but I thought I would lightly plan and just sort of alternate the books and hope for the best, or at least do that for a week and see how it goes. So yeah, so that's the reading I got done yesterday. Was mostly from How to Train Your Dragon. I did read a fair amount from the next volume of Blade of the Immortal, so I'm about 3/4 of the way through, and this is my library books. I also want to read my library books, so that's 5 Blade of the Immortal books, Aquicorn, Cove, and 1 Goosebumps book within the first 3 weeks, which I'm not really worried about. But the stacking the series is my priority. Those are my priority titles, and so I am actively working on those. I didn't do a reading plan yesterday. I might do one today. I might not, because I feel like I know what my priorities are. And there are other things that I want to read, like I want to finish White Fang, which I read a little bit of. It's a heavier title. I'd wished to finish it in August. That didn't happen. So I'm not sure if I want to do a reading plan or not. because usually I go through all of the books that I'm currently reading, and because this month I really want to focus on stacking the series, I don't want to get too hung up on like all of the other books I'm in the middle of. So I might let that go. But I think I will take a look at my library books just to see if there's anything that's going to expire this week that I want to finish, because I think I have at least one graphic novel, one of the sagas I have. So yeah, so that is the reading update for yesterday. I haven't set up my reading tracking yet. When I do that, I will share it. I think I'm going to go back to a composition book. The pages are a bit, the lining, the line, how it's lined is larger. I have larger handwriting, not huge, but not small. So I was using a Lichterm and grid, and it was a little small, and the paper's yellow, and I prefer the paper to be white, and because I use pencil crayon, so it makes a difference. So I think I'm going to go back to doing my composition book, which takes a while to set up, so I think I'll be doing that today. So there's a mini update. I will see what reading I get to, and yeah, definitely another third of the dragon book, and maybe starting some of the nonfiction. We shall see. So I am having a very lazy Labor Day, which is actually quite delightful. And I have got no reading done yet, but I have set up my reading tracking for the month, so that's good. I will show you what it looks like now. So here's my 2-page spread for tracking. I have my TBR books here. I have my How to Train Your Dragon, and I'll put all of my Stacking the Series books here, so I left space. And then I have the rest of my TBR. I've just put it in pencil. It's very hard to see because I'll replace it. There we go. Alana and The Ship Who Sang are other TBR books, and then I have my library books will go down here. So I read some of Blade of the Immortal, as well as How to Train Your Dragon number 10. And then anything that's not on my TBR will go on this side. So I'm still working on White Fang, so I read a couple of pages there. And then, so that's the 3 books I worked on yesterday. 3 books, 3 different colors. The color represents the genre. And then I put it all together on this side. So the pages. Oh, it's not focusing. So 38, 138, 130, and 16 equals 284, and there are the pages. The lines this way means it's a visual work, so graphic novel or manga. And then I did also do on this side my September TBR in the actual books listed here. These are ones I'm making decisions about. And then my Stacking the Series, decision about Stacking the Series, the rest of my TBR, and my library books. And I do this little chart here where I indicate whether I've started the book, whether I'm actively reading the book, whether I finished the book, and then what the rating is. I don't know if I've shown that before. I don't always, because sometimes, I don't know. I don't know why I don't do that, but I did this time. So that's my 2-page, 2 spreads, the actual books, and then the daily running total of how much I read. So I haven't read anything yet, so I think that's probably next on the agenda. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Happy September 3rd. I didn't do much updating yesterday, so I thought I would update how my reading went. I have my first finish of the month with Blade of the Immortal Volume 17. I'm reading 5 of these this month, so that went well. Not surprised it was my first one. I usually read these in 2 days, so 2 days happened. Also, I forgot to say what my plan was in terms of some of the books. I go on and off on how planny I want to be this month, but I have decided for the How to Train Your Dragon books, I generally read them in 3 days, so I'm going to attempt to continue to read them in 3 days. And as these ones tend to be about 400 pages, that makes it 133 pages a day, which I have been on pace for. That's about what I read on day 1 and day 2. Day 2 was a little less because it went into a bit of a large section that felt like a good section to start next time. So I'm at about page 260, so that's actually also pretty close. And I have decided to start some of my other TBR books. Yesterday I did start the very short introduction to Shakespeare. I only got 8 pages in, but I started it, and I also started the book on Mabon. I did not prep that though, so give me a moment to get the cover. And for the Mabon book I read the beginning, which is the same in all of the Llewellyn Sabbath essentials, so I didn't actually have to, but I just sort of do, because it's a good reminder of just sort of what the series is about and the different holidays. And then I read the beginning of the first section, which is called The Old Ways. They're all structured the same way. They have the old ways, the new ways, and then 3 or 4 other chapters on different types of things to do and that you can do on the holiday, because it's recipes, rituals, and lore. So it has a section on each of those. And what I do with my reading tracking daily is I do a bit of a cheat sheet of all of the pages. And then I enter this into Goodreads, and then I have it as a reference guide for when I update my reading tracking. And I do put my current page number in pencil on my current reading tracking, just to make it easier to know exactly where it started, because I actually start my reading tracking from not necessarily first thing in the morning, but when I get out of bed, because sometimes I read in the morning and those pages I count for the day before, just to make things easier in terms of the math. So yeah, so that's what I did. That's what I do. So it's everything I read from now until I get out of bed tomorrow will count as Tuesday. It's a little weird, but I tried to do it in different ways, and I'm like, no, I do my tracking once I get up, so that's when my reading day officially starts, not at midnight. I guess if I was doing a readathon that was specific, I actually don't. I usually just start the next day. If it's a midnight start, I start the next day, and I go until I fall asleep on the last day. That's usually what I do. So anyway, so yeah, so that's how yesterday went. I think that was okay. I think the one thing I need to work on is I think the books I picked are going to be okay. Like, it's 9 books plus my library books, but for the month, and but 7 of the books are kids' books, and I'm planning to read each of those in 3 or 4 days, and I think I can keep that pace up. I don't think that's going to be too bad. Plus Alana and the Ship Who Sang, so it's 9 books plus 7 library books plus 3 other ones, Alana, the Ship Who Sang, and the Greek myths. I lost the math there somewhere. 9, 7, 16, 3, 20. Oh, that's an easy number. 20. But a fair amount of them are kids' books and nonfiction that I'm used to reading. So I feel like maybe it's not super challenging this month. So I think what the challenge actually really will be is going to be figuring out how to deal with my stacking the series that I don't know what to do with. That's actually going to be the big challenge. So today I'm going to take some time to write about that, to journal that out in terms of maybe a little bit on how I'm feeling on each of the series. What I think I could gain from reading it, cautions I have, that's not the right word, but things that make I have trepidation about. Okay, that is just a big fancy word for another word. It's okay. This is a vlog, so you don't always use like the perfect word. So I'm going to take some time today to journal about that, and then maybe possibly sketch out, how to tackle those. And I think I might try and pick one series a week to focus on. So for this vlog, I might just get through the process of figuring out what the process will be. And then my next vlog, I might pick one series, or I might decide to dive into one series right away. I'm not sure. So that is sort of how today started. I also did want to share something else, though. I did notice this happened a while ago, but I hadn't had a chance to watch it yet. The trailer for The King dropped, which is a Netflix original film directed by David, I think it's Michaud. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his last name. He did the Animal Kingdom film that came out several years ago. It's an amazing Australian crime drama with a spectacular cast. Like, it's just like everyone in that cast, now when I see them in something else, I watch them. Joel Edgerton I already knew from King Arthur, but Sullivan Stapleton, Ben Mendelsohn, I'm trying to remember the rest of the cast. It's just like everyone in it is so good. So anyway, The King is being directed by David Michaud, and it was also, I don't know if it was, I know Joel Edgerton is one of the writers, and I'm trying to remember if David Michaud was the other writer. I'm not sure. Anyway, it is book related because it is adapting the story of, it looks like from the trailer, it looks like it's adapting the story of Henry V. I don't know, it says that it's inspired by or written from the first history tetralogy, which is Richard II, Henry IV, Part 1 and 2, and Henry V. But I imagine it's actually probably just Henry IV, Part 1 and 2, as well as Henry V, because the character of Henry V, like Hal, is is in all three of those. He's not in Richard II. Oh, is he? No, he isn't. Is he? No, he isn't. So anyway, so I'll watch that. I'll flip so I can show you a couple of things on the screen, and yeah, because I'm really excited about that. It's coming out. I can't remember any of the specific details, but I did read all of the plays, and I did read those. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to maybe reread Henry IV, Part 1 and 2, and Henry V before the film comes out. And I thought it was a series. A couple of people talked about it as if it was a series, but I think that was just because it was on Netflix. It looks like it's a movie, 133-minute movie. So, okay, I'll show you some screen stuff. So here is the thumbnail for the trailer. It stars Timothy Chalamet, not sure. I know him from Lady Bird, but he is also probably better known for Call Me By Your Name, which I haven't seen yet. I know. I want to read the book first. It also stars Robert Pattinson. I believe he plays the Dauphin. Yeah, so, and that's that poster, which looks great. And it is coming out October 1st. Yeah. And it is... Where did it say the thing about... Oh, I didn't want to look at that plot. And so there's the director. It's that circumflex that makes me confused. And yeah, so it looks really good. I'm excited about it. There's the IMDb page. And yeah, so it is the director and Joel Edgerton who wrote it. So it doesn't even credit Shakespeare as a writer, but it is obviously inspired by that. It is on my most anticipated films of the year list. And then, oh yeah, Ben Mendelsohn is in it. Sean Harris, Joel Edgerton as Falstaff. I'm super excited about that. Okay, I'm going to turn again. One quick correction. The King is actually coming out November 1st. It's being premiered at the Venice Film Festival. It actually premiered yesterday. Released on October 11th, and then the Netflix premiere will be November 1st. All of the dates I said were wrong, so those are the dates. I am super excited about Joel Edgerton being Falstaff because it's one of those characters I think is much beloved, and I found him a hard character to connect with from reading the plays. He's if you're unfamiliar, Falstaff is Hal's friend, Henry V's friend, but he's his friend from when he was prince. He was very much a man of like hanging out at the pub, shall we say. That's him and Falstaff spend a lot of time at the pub, and I have a hard time connecting with the character. I read or when I watched the Hollow Crown versions, I got a stronger sense of Falstaff, but I still don't see why he seems really beloved, and I don't get what it is. Like in some ways he's a comic relief character, but there's also I feel like a sort of very tragic storyline with his character. But it's interesting to see him have a friendship with the king. So anyway, if you are a fan of the character of Falstaff, please let me know what it is about him that you love. But I am really looking forward to this adaptation, especially having Joel Edgerton. He's such a brilliant actor. So I'm sure that I will learn more about the character through his performance. And I'm really looking forward to this. It has been a while since there's been a Shakespeare adaptation that I've been excited about. And the fact that it's on Netflix means that a lot of people have the opportunity to see it. I feel like, when Shakespeare does come out in the theater, not everyone goes. Like I always, I don't even always go, and I love Shakespeare. So this is one opportunity that a lot of people see it. Now, of course, Twitter blew up when the news came out, and everyone was talking about Robert Pattinson's hair, if you can believe it. All the things to talk about, and they were talking about his hair. So I think that's interesting. I forgot that he was playing the Dauphin, which is the Prince of France. I believe that's what the character is, but I don't know if the Dauphin always means that. So if if that's what that means, if it's like the title, if it means literally the prince, but it's just in French, I don't know. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. So that's a little sort of side bookish excitement. In terms of plans of the day, I hope to finish reading How to Train Your Dragon 10. I'm forgetting all the titles because I'm not writing them down. I'm just saying like 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, it goes to 12. I always think it's 13. So no, 10. So I'm planning on finishing that today. I can't decide if I want to tackle another Blade of the Immortal or if I want to switch to something else, or if I want to start like the Greek Myths or something. Or like, so this is like one of those things about the beginning of the month. It's like, how many things do you want to start at the same time? Because I'm kind of ignoring what my normal reading plan is, which is to look at everything I'm in the middle of. Because this month my focus is my Stacking the Series books. I have a couple other books, my library books and stuff I want to get to, but those are the books I want to get to. So I'm foregoing my regular methods, which always makes me feel a little off kilter. I do know I need to read Saga because I only have that. I have Saga Volume 6, I think, from the library, and I only have it for another week. But Volume 7 just came in, so I think I have Volume 6, 7, 8, and 9 all out from the library at the same time. So I have to strategically plan that so I don't lose any of the, so that I see them all before they expire and I return them as soon as I can so other people can enjoy them. And I have those all on overdrive. So yeah, I guess planning out Saga is something I should do today. Finishing How to Train Your Dragon is something I should do today. Continuing on like everything else. And then journaling about the 3 series, the Pneuma Files, Women of the Otherworld, and Boston Fire, and see if I can find some information there about how I'm feeling about them and what would be a good way to move forward in terms of making the decision or things to test out. So I think that's enough for one day. And of course I'll update my reading tracking and I'll show you when I do that too. All right, thanks. I will see you soon. So I finally entered my reading tracking for the day. We have more pages on How to Train Your Dragon. I do a gradation so I can tell that this is 2 chunks, 2 reading sessions. That's why I do it like that, as I can visually see that was one day and then that was another day, so it goes from dark to light. Anyway, so read some How to Train Your Dragon, added in the 2 new books I started, Shakespeare, a very short introduction, 8 whole pages there, folks, 8 whole pages, and the Vagabond book, 23 pages, and I finished Blade of the Immortal, and when I finish them, I color in the box on the side, so open box, open box, open box, finish box. And then on page 2, I have the page counts. So How to Train Your Dragon in purple, very small amount of pages. You can barely tell the blue from the green there. Blue is Shakespeare, green is Vagabond, brown is Blade of the Immortal, and when I finish a book I do put a star over to the side to let me know I finished, and it's in the color, so I know I finished the brown book, the brown books. Brown is, what is it? Horror, thriller, mystery, historical, and Blade of the Immortal is historical. It's also pretty dark. Technically maybe an adventure, and super technically paranormal, but barely. Anyway, so that's my reading tracking. It's really late in the day to be doing it, but I did it, so yay! Okay, I'm finally gonna sit down and start reading some of the How to Train Your Dragon book. I don't think I'll read it all in one go. I have a third left. I think I'll read probably half of what's left, and then I do have some other stuff that I need to get to, so I'm gonna do that and then read the rest of it later. So we'll see how things go. One other thing that I would like to do today is to update my reading tracking, especially my online spreadsheet, the one that Brock created, because the last book I have here is from August 19th, Golden Kamuy, but the last book on my actual reading, I've read all of these books. So I've read 13 other books in August, but I haven't entered them yet because there's Golden Kamuy and then we have Haunted Mask, lots of Blade of the Immortal. Yeah, so I would like to do that so I can do my stats, because I have my projects spreadsheet for all of the projects I'm working on, and to do that I like to have the stats because I pulled Brock's stats in here too. So anyway, so going to hopefully do some data entry. I don't necessarily always get to this on time. There's no super deadline for that, but yeah, that's just one more reading-ish thing I plan on doing today. I'm super excited that Luke from Razor Wire Reviews is doing another Asian cinema season, so I'm going to watch this video on The Big Boss from 1971 because Bruce Lee.
Hello, welcome back to Asian Cinema Season 2, and this will be the start of a number of videos on the films, the works the life and the times of the legendary, the master, Bruce Lee.
Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.
And I have continued to read How to Train Your Dragon number 10. I got to a good section where it felt like a good transition from A to B, so I stopped reading for a bit and I'll finish off the rest of it tonight. I'm now on page, let's take a look, 329, so it's about 400 pages, so I have 70 pages left, so I can read that before I go to sleep. I'm really enjoying it. I realize I haven't talked about it, but it's hard to talk about the 10th book in a series, so won't be doing that. Still working on how to talk about books in series. I have an idea, but it's a bit of a longer term, like, project, so it's something that I need to work on, I think, a little bit before anything comes to fruition in terms of videos. So, but I am still working on it because I still get stumped on how to talk about books and series. But I am enjoying it. It's an adventure fantasy-ish. It's fantasy because there's dragons, and it's adventure because it's young, and there's, puzzles that need to be solved. Not puzzles per se, but, they have to solve things, which is one of the characteristics of adventure. But yeah, I'm quite enjoying it. Hiccup's such a great character, and this one is a bit more serious, so we're starting to get serious. Makes sense, 10 out of 12 books in, and I do find with middle grade and younger titles, YA2, that the content gets more serious as you go along, because also the readers can get older as they read them. Even if all the books are released, when you start reading, it takes a while to read them, so you do age as you read. We also age as we read. Can't stop that aging thing. Anyway, so I think the plan for tonight, I actually have to switch gears and watch a movie. I have to watch a movie. I want to watch a movie. And I have an early-ish start tomorrow and quite a trek tomorrow. I have an appointment and it is quite a commute. So I will get a good amount of reading done, hopefully on the way. I can never guarantee, depends on, subway and if I get a seat and, and where my mind's at and how much sleep I got and all that stuff. But hopefully I can get some good reading done on the way. But I do definitely plan on continuing to read tonight, finishing off How to Train Your Dragon. I also will start the next Blade of the Immortal because it left on a bit of a cliffhanger. So I'm going to start reading volume 18. I almost said start watching. I know I think in a recent video I said that I was reading someone's video. Like I was reading someone's YouTube video. So yeah, I don't always say the right words, which is one of the weird things about vlogging, and when you watch it back and you're like, yeah, no, that wasn't the right word. That wasn't the right word. Sometimes you know in the moment, but sometimes you miss it. So anyway, yeah, so that's the plan. How to Train Your Dragon, more of the Blade of the Immortal, and if I can sneak it in, I might start Saga Volume 6, because now I have 6, 7, 8, 9 all out from the library, and so it'd be good to read those and return those so that more people can enjoy them, and also to, of course, finish them before they expire. I'm only really in danger of that if Saga Volume 6 expires this week, so if I need something a bit lighter, they're actually, the content, it's definitely adult if you, haven't started the journey of Saga, but it's amazing how it has humor and lightness, but it's also serious and can also be very touching. It's really all the things. It's one of the few series or books that I've read because of YouTube and BookTube where I'm like, yeah, no, everyone's right. Everyone's right. This is stellar. I often don't have the same opinion, or sometimes I enjoy stuff. A fair amount of times I enjoy stuff, but I haven't. Saga really is as good as everyone says. So that is the plan for tonight, and yeah, we'll see how things go. It's already dark out, so I don't know how good vlogging is at night, but that's the update for now. So it is day 4 of September, or it's September 4th, that's a better way to say that. And yesterday what did I do? What did I do? I finished How to Seize a Dragon's Jewel, which is the 10th book in the How to Train Your Dragon series. It was quite good. I did enjoy it. It is getting more serious, as I mentioned. I actually found this one a bit long. There were a couple scenes in it that I was like, we're hanging out here for a long time. I don't think this was an important scene, but I don't think we needed to be here for quite that long. It could have also been I was a little tired and I knew I wanted to finish it, so I was a little like, let's just get there. But I genuinely do believe some of the scenes were a bit long. So, yeah, but I did enjoy it and I'm looking forward to getting to the next one. But I think I'm going to switch to reading The Giver first. But yeah, so that is my first official TBR book from my Stacking the Series done. So, yay, 1 of 9 of my official TBR. And then also on my official TBR, I read another 8 pages of a very short introduction to Shakespeare. This is less like this is more dry, which I know because it's nonfiction and it's teeny tiny. But unfortunately, I'm right now just the first section is about Shakespeare's life, and they don't quite know exactly who he was. So it reads a little oddly, like there's a little bit of documentation that could possibly be him on this date in this region for this whatever job or land title. So I get that. I get that it's not 100% clear, but it's stuff like that I feel like sometimes is more effective in a table when it's purely data, or data. Is it data? Data. I was thinking data is like data on Star Trek, which makes me think it's data. I don't know. Is that like a British North American thing? I don't know. Like schedule. I have no idea. Although I don't know how many people nowadays still say schedule other than my dad. Anyway, off topic. And I love that he does. So yeah, so this is very dry, so I'm hoping it'll pick up, as time goes on. This section is, I'm about 2/3 of the way through the first section, which is pretty much these kinds of things. Although it does have some pictures and some documentation. This, I don't know what that is. So it's a Stratford baptism register. So somewhere in there could be, Shakespeare's baptismal record. Could be. Do we know who he is? I don't know. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. I did also start the next Blade of the Immortal, volume 18. So little sad though, because the last one left on a cliffhanger and this one went into a different part of the story, which I don't like that they do. And I have a sense that it will continue in not the part of the story it cliffhangered, which I really don't like. Like, I took out a bunch of volumes, so I'm sure when I was like, hey, I want to know what happened, will get resolved in the volumes I picked out, and it better. So that's one of the challenges with longer series, and I can imagine if you were reading these as they were published, could be months before you get the volume where that part of the story continues. But, considering I have this one and another 3, I imagine it will get resolved. So, yeah, I think that's where I'm at in terms of my reading. The page count was 205, mostly How to Train Your Dragon. The Blade of the Immortals, it's hard to tell because they're not numbered, so I get the page count off of Goodreads, and then I estimated like how much that is, and then I do some math, percentage math, guesstimate math. So yeah, so that's where I'm at for how things went yesterday. I did not watch a movie. I worked on my sweater. Actually, I'm hoping to finish a sweater this month. It's tucked away in that striped bag. I just have to bind off the hem and then do the sleeves and the collar. I haven't done stuff like that for a while, so I did all the math yesterday in terms of the sleeves, and it feels a little like, I'm not sure, so I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I should be able to bind off the hem soon, like on the next couple rounds, and then I will pick up the sleeves and I haven't done a sleeve for a long time, so it'll be interesting. Anyway, that was kind of random. Today I have it's early, so I have to get some breakfast, and then I have quite a commute because I have an appointment that's quite far, and I hopefully will get a lot of reading done. I could potentially start The Giver. I definitely am starting The Giver today. Whether or not I get it read on my commute is hard to tell. I might decide to settle in and finish White Fang, which is one of my books from last month that I haven't finished, and I don't want it to just hang there. I think I have 4 chapters left in the final part, and it's been pretty heartbreaking. But I have a long commute and potentially a long wait for my appointment, so it's a good day to have reading options. I also have the 3 titles that I am considering what to do with stacking the series, that I'll take all of those with me. Dime Storm Magic by Kelly Armstrong, Blue Gold by Clive Cussler, and I'm in the middle of reading Controlled Burn by Shannon Stacy, so those are all up for possibilities to peruse through. It's, I don't know about you, but like there's some days, I know when I have appointment days, like, if I could get no reading done, or I could get hours of reading done. I never know. I also have my audiobooks, so any of those could get read too. But it all depends on how the commute goes, so we shall see, and we shall see where this day takes us. I just updated, I have a mini section in my spreadsheet for stacking the series, and with the How to Train Your Dragon book, I am now down to 30 books left to read. I've read 48 of the 78, and now I'm at 61.54 completion. So that's pretty awesome. 30 books left, 8 of which I want to read this month. And that'll get me to 22 books left. Ooh, that makes me want to look for 2 more books. It's really gray and windy out. Oh my god, look at those clouds. But wow, it is windy. So I listened to a bit of Atomic Habits on my way here, and it was really good. I'm really liking that book. It's not on my monthly TBR, but it's my currently reading, so it's one of my reads. And now I'm going to be getting on the subway, and I hope to read The Giver. So we'll see. It all depends on if I get a seat. If I don't get a seat, then it's probably audiobooking. So I was able to read 4 chapters of The Giver on the way here to my appointment, and I think that puts me 17% through. I need to read, I think, 7 chapters today. So good shape. It's so hard because I really like utopics, dystopic utopics. Like, I like the structure, I like ritual, I like that people know what to expect, I like that there's opportunity. Of course, there are huge problems, especially all to do pretty much with conformity and the lack of freedom. So it's also interesting to read a story like this as an adult and as a reread. I've read this twice before, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But so far, I really like the story, I really like the characters, and we're still in Utopia, so I'll enjoy it while it's there. Okay, so appointment over. Oh, we're back to being windy. Okay, so hopefully the audio reads at all. No reading done, but I did do some journaling while I was waiting, because I'm sneaky like that. It's not sneaky. Anyway, and I worked through some questions I had for 2 of the series that I'm reading. Lost in Fire and Women of the Otherworld, and I decided to look at pros and cons on continuing the series, as well as my concerns. But before that, I decided to look at what I liked and didn't like about what I've been reading so far, and it was really interesting to frame it that way, because pros and cons was really easy, but what I liked and didn't like, and also what was surprising, because surprises could be good or bad. If there's something you don't like, you can reframe how you think or your approach, doesn't necessarily, something being surprising isn't necessarily bad. So, I don't know, we'll see how things go. And also, looking at the two series, by the way, I stopped because I had to cross the street, but looking at the two series, I'm surprised to say that it looks like I'll continue the Boston Fire series, but without any time constraints. I'm happy to put it on a romance series I'm reading without any time pressure. I did have some concerns about it, just if they're too similar, and I feel like we spend a fair amount of time with people that aren't the main couple, but I'm only one and a bit books in, so I'm not sure if that's always the case. And then with the women of the other world, even though I have I have strong concerns, not lots of concerns, but strong concerns, I'm kind of feeling like I might just go for it, which I'm surprised at. There was way more in the prologue than I thought from just instinctively thinking of the whole series. And I think like right now might be a good time just to gun it. So it'll a bit depend on how the next book is. That was surprising. Didn't get to the new house, only had so much time, but that's some progress.
Next station is.
And one more book. Red. So it is now day 5, and I finished another book yesterday, not the one I expected. I ended up finishing White Fang, which I'm really happy about because it was one of my books from August, so it's really good to get that one done. I didn't love it. It's very much, it reminds me a bit of Black Beauty in terms of the fact that it is focusing on, one of its focuses is awareness on animal cruelty, but that often is not a fun thing to read about. And of course now I think generally people are much more aware of that, so I didn't really like that. There were also a lot of things it was saying about like the dynamics, hierarchy dynamics. I was like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. So anyway, probably requires some more pondering, but I'm just at this point glad to get it done. So I finished that. That was good. I didn't read any more of The Giver. I was just too tired. It was quite an excursion yesterday, so I didn't have more energy. I read some more of Blade of the Immortal, though, and I read 8 more pages of Shakespeare, so I finished the first chapter on his life, which is good because it's a bit sketchy in terms of what they know for sure or not, so it was pretty dry. So I'm looking forward to the next one, which is called like Poetics or something like that. So hopefully that'll be more interesting. In terms of today, I would like to do a graphic visual, like some kind of countdown thing that has all of my TBR books on it. I have my regular reading tracking, but I really want to know when I'm done the books and what exactly the books on my TBR are, just as a visual representation. It'll be helpful for the vlogs to be able to show that, and also for me to be able to remember that, because I keep forgetting some of my additional titles, like the Greek myths. That's on my TBR. It's not part of stacking the series, but it's on my TBR for the month. So I want to make sure I'm continually aware, not like in an oppressive way, but just helpful way. Yeah, so I want to do that today, so I will hopefully do that and then share that. And I think I am going to end this vlog on today, Thursday, so I can put it all together and share it as my Friday reads. That felt like it was a good option. And thank you to Amy from Zoe Beck for mentioning that I could alternate week to week, one Friday reads and one vlog. Thank you. Of course, I don't have to. I am such a pick and stick person. I totally forget that I can change things and alternate things, so I really appreciate that. What else did I want to do? I want to finish playing Blade of the Immortal 18 and get a lot of the Giver read. And I felt like there was something else. I would like to do some journaling about the Numa files, because yesterday I did look at both Women of the Other World and Boston Fire with my questions I gave myself of pros, cons, and concerns, as well as what I liked, what I didn't like, and surprises, which I thought were good journaling questions. I don't know how much of that footage I'll be able to include. It was rather windy and I was talking outside, so hopefully it worked, but it might not have made the cut. So if it doesn't, then I will include it in my next week's vlog, how the decisions go for that. They have been surprising so far, and I'm curious to see what the Numa files will lead for me. So I will share my tracking progress and hopefully my visual aid. And yeah, but so far it's been a good week. I've only finished 2 things, but it was only 5 days, and I'm going to finish this early in the day, and mostly I read later at night. So it's a bit weird of a vlog. I hope you enjoyed it so far, and hopefully I will get to do another one next week, although I might alternate with the Friday reads. We shall see. Okay, here is my reading tracking update from the first 4 days of September. So I finished How to Train Your Dragon. I did start The Giver. I'm continuing both Shakespeare and Mabon. And Blade of the Immortal, I finished 1, started the 2nd. And I finished White Fang! Woohoo! And I did also continue on with Atomic Habits. This is an audiobook. I do audiobooks by chapter because I don't count them in my page count. I don't read tons of audiobooks, so I just find it really a lot easier to do it by chapter. If the chapters are huge, I give them a bigger space and then divide them a little bit. So yeah, so that is the page tracking or the book tracking, and then there's my page count. So it's been, yesterday was less, but you can see with the purple, I read a lot of the How to Train Your Dragon, and then a fair amount of Blade of the Immortal. It's all the brown with the diagonal lines. And The Giver I didn't read as much of. That's the brown there. But still, good stuff. And 3 finishes, 3 stars for 3 finishes. So yeah, I am very happy with that. So that is week 1 tracking. Since I mentioned my sweater, I thought I would show it to you, but it is black, so you don't really see it. But I am happy with how it turned out so far. I've been working on this. I started it last winter, I think, actually. So it's a raglan sleeve sweater. I got the pattern from Creative Bug. I'll leave the link down below. It is a paid-for service, but you can do a free trial. But yeah, so it's a raglan sleeve. I cast off the bottom last night. It is just, I just did a 2-inch, 2 knit, 2 purl rib, 2x2 rib. And so today I want to pick up one of the sleeves. I haven't done that maybe ever. I think usually when I do sleeves, I create them separately and then attach them, but I hate that. I hate attaching. If I can pick up anything, I don't actually like picking up stitches, but you just have to do it once. So I often, if I can, I will alter a pattern so that you knit it in the round or you pick up as you go as opposed to attaching, because I find my stitching work for attaching is not as good, and I find what's worse is I procrastinate and then I end up with all of these projects and pieces. So attach as you go works for me. I'm going to turn the camera around, see if I can give you any sense of what this looks like. But so far it's a raglan sleeve, top down, cast on, and with a rib edging. I did the rib edging. I don't know if, I think you can do whatever you want. And then the next stage I have to pick up the sleeves and finish off the collar, which I've actually never done. I've picked up sleeves before maybe, but I've never finished off a collar, so I'm really looking forward to that. So far this class has been very good, and I've really enjoyed it, although it's taken me a year to get the star. Alright, let's look at the other side. So yeah, given that this is black, it is really hard to see. Hopefully you can see that it's a V-neck. And then it's got raglan shaping here from the shoulder seam to the the armhole. And I have, like, half of these are on hold, and then I added more stitches to make the body larger. I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I think the stitching, there you can see that. And that's the ribbed cuff. It ends up about mid-hip, sort of like at where the end of my pockets on the inside work out. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. Today I plan on picking up the stitches and casting on the sleeve. I'm a little concerned with the sleeve sizing because my arms always end up being bigger, but they're not that long. Bigger than patterns, but not as long, so it might be a bit of an evolution. But with this pattern, you can try it on. I couldn't try it on when I was creating it because my needle wasn't long enough for all the stitches, like they would fall off the needle. So, but I think with the arm I should be able to try it on. So hopefully that's what I'm going to plan on doing tonight, is casting on and hopefully getting the 1 inch of straight knitting and then start decreases, or be able to decide whether I should not do decreases at least for a while. So we shall see how that goes. So there's some knitting for you. Very hard to see black sweater. I have also created my September TBR visual indicator chart thingy. I split it into sections. I have my stacking the series stuff that I'm doing, so the 9 books I want to read, the 3 How to Train Your Dragons, the 4 Givers, the 1 Shakespeare very short introduction, and the Mabon book. So those are the 5 I want to read. And then here are the 3 series I want to work on: Boston Fire, Women of the Otherworld, and Numa Files. And I think my process really will be journal about it, read some of it, research concerns that I have, and then make the decision. What am I going to do? Am I going to read it at all? Am I going to try and read it this year? I'm going to read it later. What the decision is the goal for the month, to make a decision about those 3. And then I have other books on my TBR. Alana the First Adventure, which is a read-along that Anita Reads is hosting. I want to read the Greek Myths, the book that I recently got, and The Ship Who Sang for Space Opera September. And there is my one goof. I guess I wanted to write The Ship Who Slang. And then last but not least, I have my library books. These are like want to read, but not like terribly going to be sad if I don't read them. I will be sad, but you know, they're not as high a priority, hence being at the bottom of the list. So I have 5 books from Blade of the Immortal, Aquicorn Cove, Piano Lessons Are Murder, which is a Goosebumps book, and then 4 Saga books. Oh, that was another spelling mistake there in Saga. I covered it better than The Ship Who Slang. So yeah, so I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. It's not going to win any awards. It's a bit messy, but I got it done, which was the goal. And I already have 2 books that I have finished: How to Train Your Dragon 10 and Blade of the Immortal 17. And I've started journaling, but I wouldn't necessarily say my journaling for those 2 works is complete. But yeah, that is where things stand at the end of week 1, or more specifically, vlog 1. Thank you so much for watching my first vlog for September. I am really hoping that it is an excellent reading month. I think so far I'm off to a good start, even though I've only finished 2 out of, I think the total of books here is 23 plus 3 decisions. Or maybe it's 20 plus 3 decisions. I forgot to do the math. But yeah, I've read 1 out of 9 stacking the series books and 1 of my library books. So, and I did finish White Fang too. So, and I cast off the bottom of my sweater, which is not on my TBR, obviously, but it's still a goal. So yeah, I would like to finish my sweater in September. I forgot to say that. That's one of the reasons why I thought it might be fun to share. And yeah, so thank you for joining me for this first week of vlogging in September. I think I will try and vlog the whole thing. We'll see if that happens. But now I have my chart, and I can share my chart, and that will keep me inspired. I don't know if it's going to stay there. It will for now, because, you know, painter's tape is the best thing. I can move it anytime I want. And yeah, so I think that that goes well. Let me know how your September is going so far. And are you making a sweater this month, or working on a sweater, or any knitting? I think people are getting into the fall spirit. I'm actually it's really nice. I had done the majority of that sweater last year. And now once it's cold, hopefully it'll be done and I can wear it. We shall see. Thanks so much for watching.